Basic constitution of proteins, simple amino acids called themselves be built up from simpler molecules, kick-starting decades of research into the chemical origins of life. By 1953, James D. Watson and Francis Crick clarified the basic structure of DNA. The genetic material for expressing life in all its form, building on the work Rice, Wickens, and Rosalind Franklin suggested that the structure of DNA was a double helix in their famous paper, Molecular Structure of Nucleic Acids, in the late 20th century, the possibilities of genetic engineering became practical for the first time, and a massive international effort began in 1919s to map out an entire genome. The Human Genome Project, the discipline of ecology, typically traces its origin to the synthesis of dra- raw Darwinian evolution and Humboldtian biography in the late 19th and early 20th century, equally important in the rise of ecology, where microbiology and soil science, particularly the cycle of life concept, prominent in the work Louis Pasteur and Ferdinand Cohen. The word ecology was coined by Ernest Haeckel, whose particularly holistic view of nature in general and Darwin's theory in particular was important in the spread of ecological thinking. In the 1930s, Arthur Transley and others began developing the field of ecosystem ecology, which combined experimental soil science with the psychological concept of energy and the techniques of field biology. Neurosciences as a distinct discipline, the understanding of neurons and the nervous system became increasingly precise and molecular during the 20th century. For example, in 1952, Alan Lloyd Hodgkin and Andrew Huxley presented a mathematical model for transmission of electrical signals in neurons of the giant axon of a squared, which they called action potential, and how they are initiated and propagated, known as the Huxley model. In 1962, Richard Fitzhugh and J. Negomo simplified Hodgkin and Huxley. It was called the Fitzhugh. 1966, Eric Kendall and collaborators examined biochemical changes in neurons associated with learning and memory storage and aphasia. In 1981, Catherine Morris and Harold Licker combined these models, and the Morris Licker model. Such increasingly quantitative work gave rise to numerous biological neuron models and models of neural computation. Neuroscience began to be recognized as a distinct academic discipline in its own right. Eric Kendall, all collaborators have cited David Hugo, Francis and Stephen Kofler as having played a critical roles in establishing the field. Plate Tectonics geologists embrace plate tectonics became part of a broadening of the field from a study of rocks.
बिल्कुल सर याद होता है कि आपको क्लोनिंग वगैरह आती है तो आपको आती है क्लोनिंग करना नहीं आती।
Application in terms of application, a massive amount of new technologies were developed in the 20th century. Technologies such as electricity, the incandescent light bulb, the automobile, and the phonograph, first developed at the end of the 19th century, were perfected and universally developed. The first car was introduced by Carl Benz in 1885. The first airplane flight occurred in 1903, and by the end of the century, airline flew thousands of miles in a matter of hours. The development of the radio, television, and computers caused massive changes in the dissemination of information. Advances in biology also lead to large increases in food production as well as the elimination of diseases such as polio by Dr. John's Alka gene mapping and gene sequencing invented by Drs. Mark Skolink and Walter Gilbert respectively are the two technologies that made the human genome project feasible. Computer science is built upon a foundation of theoretical linguistics, discrete mathematics, and electrical engineering. Studies the nature and limits of computation. Subfields include computability, computational complexity, database design, computer networking, artificial intelligence, and the design of computer hardware. One area in which advances in computing have contributed to more general scientific development is by facilitating large-scale achieving of scientific data. Contemporary computer science typically distinguish itself by emphasizing mathematically theory and in contrast to the practically emphasis of software engineering.
क्या नाम है आपका?
Development in political science and economics in political science during the 20th century, the study of ideology, uh, behavioralism, and international relation lead to a multitude of polls as a sub-DS plans, including rational choice theory, voting theory, game theory, also used in economic psychology, political geography, geopolitics, political anthropology, political psychology, political sociology, political economy, policy analysis, public administration.